DM tips. There's so much to talk about. What's going on, everybody? Skoot Illithid here with some DM tips. Now, I was asked recently on Reddit from Nifty Dark Rider 981 about some DM tips that I might have for him. So I told him, why not I'll just make a video. So I wrote a list of things down here. It's not a big list. Now, I'm not going into great depth about these particular things. I'm just kind of giving a generalized tip, ideas, and things of that sort. So we're going to start with your pre-session, session 0. What you need to know is what people are going to play. What race are they going to be? What class are they going to be? Because that's going to influence kind of how you're going to do your first session. Now also, are you doing just a single one-shot session, or are you doing a full campaign that you want to have these players go in and play in? Let's say you have a rogue that's coming in. You may want to maybe put in some traps in your dungeons or in your encounters, or maybe something that he can disable or has to pick a lock, just to bring him into the story instead of him just running around hiding behind tables and chairs and trying to get sneak attacks. If you have a wizard or a caster, someone that uses arcane, maybe have a set of runes or crystals that they need to do arcane knowledge of and try to figure some stuff out. Just kind of have class-oriented encounters and situations in order for the players to even further immerse themselves in the session. Building. How do you build towns? How do you build areas, encounters, your pocket encounters? So what I do, especially if I'm just starting out with nothing, just a blank sheet of paper, maybe some graph paper, I use the dice. So I make a small square, or whatever the landscape that you're going to use, and I roll, say, a d4 or a d8. How many towns, how many buildings do I want in this town? Just leave it up to the dice. Let's roll a d10. All right, I got six buildings. So you draw out, 6 buildings. Maybe you want an inn, maybe a tavern, maybe a potions and brew place. So now you can decide, well, how many NPCs do I want? How many people do I want in each store? Maybe roll a d4. All right, I got 2, so there's going to be, 2 in the inn walking around. You roll a d6. Now I got, 5 that are in the tavern. So just also don't forget, you have the dice there to help you as well when building NPCs, especially ones that the players are going to come in contact with either maybe once or quite often, say the blacksmith or the innkeeper. You want to give them a little bit of a personality. Don't just have the players go in and say, hey, we would like to get a room, and then your NPC is like, okay, which room do you want? Give them a little personality. Maybe that innkeeper is not a fan of dwarfs because of something that happened in the past. So he seems a bit disgruntled whenever the dwarf player is talking, or when he's doing something, or he's keeping a watchful eye on him. He could have some quirks. Maybe he has like a twitch. So while you're talking to people at the table and while they're discussing back and forth with that NPC, maybe, twitch your head a couple times, or make some weird gestures, just to add that flavor and to spice up your NPCs. On to learning to improvise. Now, I did a whole video last year about improvising and how to do on-the-spot decisions, and honestly, improvising is you can watch all the videos on YouTube, you can read all about improvising, but you'll really only learn improvising once you actually start doing it. Once you actually are put in that place to where, I have nothing written for this area, the players want to go in this area and I have nothing going on. So that's when pocket encounters come into play, and also your quick thinking and, improvising for that situation. Being visual. Now, being visual is a big thing, since all you have in front of you, for most people, is maybe some miniatures, maybe a piece of paper, maybe not even that. Maybe it's just, one-on-one talking and there's not even a battle mat or anything down. Being visual is essential to being a DM in the way that you describe different combat scenes, different areas, the smell, the texture, how things look and feel. So now you don't have to do a big, long, in-depth description of what they're seeing when they go into a room that they've already been in. Say they are going down into the dungeon or basement for the first time. That's when you want to go in depth about, this is what you see, you feel, this is what you smell, this is how, things are perceived to the players. But I mean, once they've been in, 3 or 4 rooms in this dungeon, You don't have to keep continuing on to say, in-depth, long speeches about, you walk into this room and it's the same exact thing as the last room that you were in. Combat's a big thing. Honestly, some sessions there might not even be any combat. It might be, it might be a mystery session. It might be political. I mean, a lot of times, personally, I like the whole dungeon crawl. Not so much, go in there and get loot, but just have some combat. So when it comes to combat, you want to change it up. If they're running around for 2-3 hours playing this game, and the only thing they have fought are humanoid bandits, then that's going to get kind of old. So you want to change it up. You want to have maybe the bandits have some some wolves that they've trained, or some dogs that they've trained to go and attack. Maybe introduce some spiders when they're going through the forest, or some dire rats. Just something to change it up. Have different creatures there. Also on your pocket encounters, have different things listed for well, I guess I could throw this in since they're going through this way. So don't overlook combat. Make sure to really look at it and change it up. And even as NPCs, give the bandit some personality. If it's the leader of the bandit encampment, give him a weird quirk, or a flaw that he may have. So I've been talking a lot about pocket encounters, and what that is a list of things that you can pull out, essentially, out of your pocket, that you can use for on-the-spot things that for combat, for encounters, for maybe an NPC. Now, what I did in a previous video is when I went to the dollar store, I went shopping for some index cards, because I saw another DM, he got colored index cards, and each color he would have like a different encounter on them. Like blue was for combat, green was for NPCs, and so on. Just whatever you want to put on those, so you have those right next to you. Encounters could be like maybe they come to a road and there's a caravan that got raided. Maybe there's something in the woods that is howling at them. You can even challenge players' alignment. Maybe a paladin comes up to a man being attacked in a caravan. I mean, what is the paladin going to do? What is he supposed to do playing his class? So pocket encounters are just good to have for on the spot. I need something right here and right now. I don't have anything written. Let me look at my pocket encounters for different combat stuff, or something that I could bring to the table to keep the session moving smoothly. Another thing about combat is, especially when you're having like your first session and players are new to D&D, they haven't really played, don't start them out with the strongest, beefiest guy that you can. Start it real small. Build their confidence. Have a bunch of small little things that they can easily kill and wipe out. What that first does is it first introduces them to the combat system and how to use their weapons and stuff. Second off, it builds their confidence for the rest of the session, and so that next time when they come to an encounter, they're not going to dread it. They're not going to try to avoid it. They're going to want to embrace that moment and take action. That's really all I have written down, guys, for right now. Just like I said, just a generalized thing to kind of look at and to kind of speculate on your own sessions when you're writing them and stuff like that. But I can go into greater detail about each of these topics, which I'll probably end up doing. So if you guys have any other questions or comments that you want to say, if there's anything that you would like to add for people watching, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Some of the things that you wish you knew as a new DM, or some of the stuff that you wish you were told when you were first starting out. So that would be fantastic to hear from you guys as well. But like I said, that's all for me, guys. So I hope you have a great day, great night, wherever you are, and I will see you guys later.